All right, everybody. We are back with another episode. This episode is going to be line cooks versus chefs. I'm your host, Lily Lavender, and I've got Jaybird here with me. We have a guest speaker, Shock. He runs a food truck, and I've worked with him in the kitchen before. I miss working with this fool. But
I think we've all worked with Shock. He's definitely the town whore when it comes to kitchens. But as far as that's considered, like he's got multiple years of experience, different play on words, different styles of cooking. I've actually learned a few things from this man, me personally, in the back of house until I decided to wise up and try and change my different career path. Yeah. But yeah, we've been in this industry for quite a while. Had a lot of laughs, a lot of arguments, and a lot of angry moments. And we can't see how this turns out. But Shock, I think we're just going to jump right into it. So everybody's hit that moment where they decided they wanted to cook. I feel like, and they've made that one dish that actually made them feel like a boss. I was just kind of curious, what's that first thing that like made you feel like you were like the man when you started cooking? That one dish.
Ugh. Probably like my mom's jerk chicken. Like, like the way she made it and how it came out. The first time I made it for somebody other than myself, and the way they looked when they ate it, I was like, yeah, I think this is it right there. Yeah, this is it. Yeah, yeah. They're like, ooh, yeah. And then when people are like, can I get that again? Or when are you making that again? And you're like, yeah, okay, that's it.
I've had that jerk chicken. It is dope. Like, yeah.
now, is it the one that you use on the truck? Or it's different?
No, it's different. It's spicier. It's a lot spicier. Oh. Yeah, we make it a lot spicier because my mom's like, you had to like not let it touch your lips like that hot. Yeah. So it was good.
That's the good stuff though. Like if you have to like mash it in your mouth and you're willing to fight through the pain to eat it, that's when you know it's good.
It tastes good. It's just hot.
Yeah. No, I love me some really good spicy food.
Well, it's like my buddy. I've got a buddy that owns a restaurant downtown, and we work together. And he was a food runner, but he's Indian, like,
That's one of my favorite foods.
Yeah, like he's from Bali.
Yeah, that curry is serious.
Yeah, and he'd throw some curry in there, man, and you'd see people just like trying like touch and go, but like they'd force it down. They'd like 3 or 4 bowls of it, but like barely ate it.
It's so good, yeah.
That's the good stuff when people are fighting to actually eat it.
Yeah.
But so how many years you been doing this?
Well, like officially, I probably 20, 21 years, but like I've been in the kitchen since I was a kid. My father was in a Jamaican restaurant when I was younger, so he had me in there cutting onions and crying from early. So I've always liked it. I didn't know it would be my thing, but I've always enjoyed it. My mom's cooked everything, my grandmother, all my family. So it was just always something I like to do. I never knew it would be my profession though.
I find that funny. It's like my mom used to make me peel potatoes. Like that was her thing. Like we never got away from. She was like, "I'm gonna teach you how to cook." And we'd be like, "Oh yeah," me and my little brother. We'd just be in the kitchen, and she's like, "All right, peel potatoes." I'm like, "Again?"
You gotta start somewhere, man.
Yeah.
You gotta start somewhere.
Well, experiences like definitely showed up in different kitchens or whatever, and even Gordon Ramsay himself said he'd rather take somebody that's had experience cooking starting from the ground up rather than like somebody that went into culinary school. Right. Is that something that you would support?
Yes. 100%. I had a chef one time tell me, he was like, I'll take a guy who's worked at, Waffle House or somewhere like that, who knows how to line cook, who knows how to, read a ticket, all that stuff you get with hands-on experience. And no disrespect to anybody in culinary school, but most of the people that I've met who went to culinary school have never cooked before.
Right.
Like they were literally trying to learn to cook. And in this business, it's bigger than that. Yeah. You can know how to julienne a potato or the name of several different knobs. That doesn't mean that you know how to do it.
Fast pace, get it out, get whatever.
Exactly.
And then
when it's busy, how to do 2 tickets at once, or push it out faster, or separate them.
There's nothing cooler than being able to have to like fix something on the fly. Yeah. Like just knowing that knowledge, like okay, we gotta throw some more butter in there. Yeah. We gotta throw some more like this needs to be darker. Yeah. This has got to have a crispier texture. Or like knowing what spice belongs where in the heat of the moment.
And that's the biggest part about it. Like when you're in the middle of it, that if you're able to stay calm because everybody's looking to you. Like if you're not calm, then it's erratic.
Yeah.
From the dishwasher to everybody. If you're not able to handle it and you're not there, like, and you're freaking out, everybody's gonna freak out, and then that throws off the whole vibe in the kitchen.
See, that's my gripe with where I'm working right now, because one person, we all know who that one person is right now, cannot handle the stress, no matter how many years of experience he says that he's got. It's not nearly enough.
Well, honestly, it's like, and I've worked with this man for a hot minute, and we've been in some pressure situations. And what I love about Shock is, like, he knows. Like, we all like to think we're a boss in the kitchen, but Shock has got like a real talent for taking control, and they'll be like, all right, like, I'm gonna knock this, and this out. He's like, you take care of this, I'll take care of this, and then we can bounce it around. If we have 3 good solid cooks, and you know where that, and they're like, and the same thing with bartending. If you know where everybody's strengths and weaknesses are, and you can, like, guide that line a long way, like, just be like, all right, look, you knock this out, and I'll take care of this, and, like, knowing that somebody has the strength to, like, if he says he's going to do it, I can count on him to do it. You know,
Responsibility is a very key thing. Being able to keep your cool in different situations and taking having accountability for your actions. You've got other people under you.
Yeah, to your previous point, like, everybody said they want to be the leader, or everybody said they want to be the boss. You know, I'm the boss of the kitchen, I run the kitchen, blah, blah, blah. Just the person who, and for us, you know, when we worked together, I was like, look, I run this window.
Yeah.
And y'all just roll with me and we'll be fine. But, you know, I'll call it out, you know, I got you. And that confidence and that belief in that person, like, I don't have to look back and see what he's doing.
Yeah.
Or I know this person to my left. I know what they're doing. And I'll just get the plates, put them up, and we get it out of there.
Exactly.
it's always a different world knowing that somebody's on the front lines with you. Like, and like, you always see that skit, that meme where you see, like, the difference between leadership. You got a boss, and you see, like, a dude on a pyramid, like lashing his employees, and then you see a leader who's, like, on the front lines, just leading the line, but he's got 12 others right behind me. And, like, and everybody's always got, like, a huge amount of respect to somebody that's willing to get their hands dirty with you.
Yeah.
And I've had really, really bad chefs, and I've had really, really good chefs. Like, my whole life, and nothing will push me harder than seeing somebody that's willing to dig through the trenches with me.
Yeah, it makes you want to work harder. Like, if that person who has as much experience than you, or kitchens are competitions.
Yes.
No matter what anybody tells you, let me be the one to be 100% real with you. Being in a kitchen, you want to be number one. I want to be number one. Any kitchen I walk into, I want to be number one. In our previous engagement, I wanted to be number one. And there were people who were in front of me who thought they were number one. But when the bosses talk to you and they tell you who's number one, that's what matters. Because the guy who signs the check tells you who's number one.
Yes.
So you can think you're number one and all that. It's those people who, like, all right, you get the money, you get the benefits.
Well, I can't name how many times that you and I and, like, our other coworkers, like, would just massively talk shit all day long. Like, we loved it. We yeah.
There's no easier way to stress relieve in the kitchen than talking some shit.
That's it.
Well, it's funny, the other day that you and I were cooking together. You and I and our other buddy, we were all cooking, and we were all, like, we were doing our own thing. Like, there were probably days that people thought we were gay, and then there's probably days that, like, people thought that we were just absolutely angry at each other.
That's right.
But I remember my grandpa came in, and he used to come eat all the time, and he loved that Big Chief thing, like that big hot dog with like fry bread and stuff on it. And I'd go out and serve it to him just because, you know, it's my grandpa. And he would laugh. Like, I'd come up to the table and he'd be laughing. He's like, y'all really need to put a door over that kitchen. I was like,
I never worked in a kitchen without a door.
Yeah, I know.
You have to have that barrier.
Yes,
Because the words that we say and what we say, we're not thinking about there not being a door there. Yeah.
And he was a deacon, like, at a church,
Yeah.
and he was like, man, he would die laughing. He was like, some of the stuff that you guys say, he's like, I would never walk into a church like that. And he was like, I'm gonna repent for you guys.
Yeah.
He's like, I haven't stopped laughing since I came to the door. He's like, but I see the customers around here. He's like, probably should put a door on.
Yeah.
They finally did put a door on.
Oh, good.
It was just much needed.
Thankfully.
But I don't like working in an open face kitchen. Like, where like, I can see the customers and all that stuff. Yeah, I would love to see your reactions to what I'm serving you. Absolutely, that's awesome. But the conversation,
The other side of that, you can see me. You know, there's that other side. Like, wait, no.
Well, it was like I was working at a corporate restaurant, and we were supposed to make chicken. Now, chicken takes minimum of like 15 minutes in the broiler, like the broiler that we had, and we forgot to cook it. Like we just skipped over it, and like we're panicking or whatever. And this guy, he was fresh on it. He's like, he's like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And he's like, he's like, fuck it, I got this. And he dropped the chicken in the fryer instead. And like, it's supposed to be broiled. He just dropped it in the fryer. He's like, I don't even care anymore. Like, he's like, I'm done. Yeah. But customers still like it. They just got fried chicken instead of broiled. Like,
and that's the thing. If you can shortcut something like that and still make it look presentable and make it look good, then they're none the wiser. Then that's a win.
Yeah, like it's win all the way around. Definitely saved it. So as far as like when you get into this and you get this experience or whatever, I've seen you definitely take control of different kitchens. Mm-hmm. Would you say as a line cook, when it, not fresh out of the gate, mind you, but like with the experience that a line cook could get, I would compare you to some of the best chefs that I've ever met.
Yes.
Well, that's a compliment, because when I started this, I didn't think I would get to where I am now, and like over the years, like somebody's got to be the leader,
yes,
and in situations, and because I'm older sometimes, and most of the time you're working with people not your age, whether it be through age or life experience, you have to take control. And I learned that was a quality that I had. My mother used to tell me when I was a child all the time, stop being a follower, be a leader. Yeah. And I kind of didn't know what that meant until I see myself now, fully grown, fully understanding of everything. And be like, you got to be the leader. Mm-hmm. And if it resonates and people will respect you because of the way you do it. Yes. I'm not yelling, I'm not griping, I'm not wagging my finger. Mm-hmm. I will dive through the mud with you. I will go to the ends of the earth with you if that's what it takes to show you like that's what it is. Like I'm not asking you to do anything I haven't done or wouldn't do myself. And there's a certain respect that comes from that when people recognize that. Because we've all been in kitchens where somebody's told you to do something, you like, bitch, please. Or fuck out of here. Or you go do it. You know what I'm saying? So it's a respect thing when you tell someone to do something who doesn't know you that well, but, and sees it in you that you mean it. And they take that and they're like, yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
Well, that's funny is I was working at a corporate place, and this was before I even met you.
Yeah.
I was cooking, and then I called out our chef at the time. Never once seen him pick up a spatula. I've always seen him expo. I've never seen him actually cook anything. Uh-huh. And I looked at him, and I was feeling myself, and I was talking shit because I was learning a lot, And I called him out one day, and I was like, "Hey, man," I was like, "Dude, like, have you ever cooked?" And he looked at me like if you could see 1,000 middle fingers go first, like absolutely. And he's like, the hell you mean? He's like, I've been cooking for like 30 plus years. Yeah. I was like, man, I ain't trying to be an asshole. I was like, maybe a little bit. I was like, I've never seen you cook shit. I was like, we cook employee meal. I was like, never seen you on the line. Never really seen you. I was like, can you cook like anything like good? And he was like, he's so mad. He was like, and he left. Like he left. Yeah. Next day. I hate to give him credit where it was due. Yeah, like next day he came in with the biggest freaking pot of like tomato soup. Like, and I was like, bud, that really? I was like, tomato soup? He's like, fucking try it. Yeah. He's like, just try it. Dude, this pot, I kid you not. I'm 6'2". This pot came up almost just above my knee. It filled it full of tomato juice. They were scraping the bottom to get the last leg. Like 30 employees, man, ate that shit all day long. And he was like, and he looked at me, he's like, fucking tell me I can't cook.
Anybody who has experience in this game, when somebody challenges you, you can handle it one of two ways. Mm-hmm. You can yell and rant and rave, or you can show.
Or you step up.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. And it's a combination of both. You get people, I can cook, and I've been cooking before you was in the kitchen, and both. Or they go home like your man did and come back and drop it on you.
Yeah, I could tell he was mad at me, but he didn't say nothing to me. But he brought his A game the next day. I was like, damn. Yeah. I was like, all right.
And that's how you get the respect. That's how you get. You see it and you're like, all right.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
That's it.
I never questioned his cooking ever again.
Right.
I was like, all right, man. I was like, I'm gonna learn. I was like, you gonna tell me how to make that tomato soup? He's like, he wouldn't tell me that. No, he wouldn't give me that recipe. I was like, yeah, that's what it is. Always bit me. I was like, damn. I was like, that was the biggest damn burn.
That's the flex right there.
Yeah. Well, and for me, like me and my little brother, we done most of the cooking growing up. Like we learned from my mom. We kind of grew up, and then obviously Hamburger Helper was like one of those quick things. But like we felt like we were masters in our own kitchen growing up. Like at 8 or 9, like you learn how to cook or whatever. It wasn't until I learned how to make like really, really good fry bread.
Yeah.
Now, fry bread's like a dish that we make here in Cherokee, like, and everybody is competitive with fry bread.
Oh yeah, I've learned.
Yeah, like that's the dish. If you make good fry bread, like people will beat your doors down to get it, and but nobody gives up their recipe. I actually know a woman that owned her daughter owns the food truck, but she had taught her how to make it and whatever. And she worked with me. She's 80-some years old, working in a corporate kitchen, keeping up with us, you know. And I used to play around with her all the time, and she loved it. I was like, hey, I was just curious. I was like, you make really good fry bread. I was like, I've tried it. It's awesome. I was like, what's your secret? And she's like, I ain't going to tell you what's in my recipes.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, come on. She's like, but I will tell you this. She's like, I'll give you a pointer. She's like, you never make fry bread angry. I was like, what do you mean? She's like, you see, she's like, I see you guys all the time. She's like, I see you cooking. And she's like, I see you yelling at staff all the time. She's like, you get mean. Yeah. Everybody gets mean in the kitchen. She's like, you're making fry bread. You got to show that stuff love. Yeah. She's like, you got to make it with good music. You got to be in a good mood. She's like, nobody makes me madder than my daughter. She's like, she'll come in and tell me how to do things, and I'll get mad. And like, she's like, my fry bread will come out flat and like crispy and angry. And she's like, if she's not there, she's like, I put on some good music. She's like, I'll be laughing and carrying on. It'll come out airy and flaky, and it'll be beautiful fry bread every time. Like, there's that's just old wisdom there. Like, if anybody's really making fry bread,
you got to put love into the food, man. Like anything you
do.
make it better with love than you do with any other emotion. You know, especially anger. You make angry food, it's gonna be angry.
It's gonna be
angry.
But cocky food still comes out the same way. It's good. Like, like there's a healthy balance between making good food all the way.
I mean, once you got something dialed in, you're good to go. You should be good to go.
Well, you and I, we've had coworkers that you and I would terrorize all day. Like, I really wish we could say his name. He knows who. He knows. Like, if he listens to this episode, he knows who we're talking about.
He's gonna know who we're talking about.
Yeah, but it was so funny to terrorize him on a regular basis. But his food was on point. If we weren't mean to him.
If he was good and he was laughing, then his food would be good. The moment he started to get upset, it was off.
Yeah, he'd get flustered, shit would come out like crispy or burnt, and they'd be on. He's like, I'm done. Yeah, and once he set that tone, it was so funny to get him there. Like, he was so mad. It was so great. But at what point during, like I would consider you a chef. You've been in this industry for more than decades of time, and you've been through the trenches. At what point would you consider a line cook have the same ability as a chef?
Well, I think it's all due to experience, man. I think experience puts you in a place. I don't know the difference between a chef and a line cook, because I consider myself a glorified line cook every day of the week. Yeah. I cringe a little bit when people call me chef, because I just don't see myself as that. I think I'm a great cook. I think I can, I'm qualified to do a bunch of things. I think I'm able to adapt. I think I can multitask it well. That word means something to certain people. Like they hold and covet that word. Mm-hmm. And I try not to be disrespectful. Right. But I think that because of the experience and what you do and how you become this great thing at this, or when people tell you are great at this, I think that word is synonymous at that point. Right. Like your culinary school and me coming up through the trenches puts us on the same level at some point. Yeah. As far as the job. Yeah. Now, obviously, that certificate on the wall means something to you. Mm-hmm. That's like a person who learned to weld through apprenticeship versus like who went to school for it. It's just at some point we're at the same level if we came up at the same time.
Well, at the same time, like, just take somebody that's in culinary. Yeah. Like, we dog, if we're being honest, we dog people that come into culinary school.
Yeah.
But if that same person is in culinary school, works with me for X amount of years, and like has also learned the trade and learned tricks, and like, like obviously you're gradually becoming a person that becomes a master at that.
So basically, they have to prove themselves.
Don't we all, though?
I think it's harder for them when they come into a room where it's a bunch of us in there, versus the other way. Yeah. If I walk into a room full of culinary cats who came out of culinary school, I think it's easier for me to get in there and stand toe to toe with them. I think I don't, I want to speak like rather than the reverse.
Yes.
Like if it's a bunch of us who learned the old school way of doing it. The old school way of doing it. Then I think we're good. We're solid.
Well, and like, yeah.
And we're gonna give him shit.
And at the same time, like the 10-1, you're going to find somebody that's went through the trenches first before you find somebody that actually went to culinary
Yeah,
school.
yeah.
I mean, for me, if you're going to kind of like go that route, like I feel like you should either be working in the kitchen and trying to master that craft on the offside and going to culinary school. If you can conquer all these aspects, which is hard enough, because if you are working in the kitchen from the ground up, you're putting in late fucking hours. Like you're going. I used to go in at certain jobs. I'd have to go in 2 hours early just so I had a comfortable shift, and leave 2 hours late just so everything was pristine.
You
And you can.
fucking the next man over in the morning.
Oh, okay. So that leads to my question. So we understand that there's situations that happen and we go through things and people have to prove themselves no matter what you're doing in the kitchen, in the bar, as a server, it don't matter. You all work together. So what if, like, I've worked with the both of you being in the kitchen before, and you know, I would come into my shift and I would hear them bitching and complaining. Oh, the day shift cooks didn't do everything that they were supposed to. So we're out this, we're out that. Now we got to get caught up and we don't have time. So they would blame specifically you. And you and I have had this conversation. And for that situation, how do you deal with it? How do you handle it? Or do you let it bother you? Do you just brush it aside?
Well, the first thing you do is if you say it, you better stand on it. So if you
But they backtrack.
yeah, exactly, and that's the thing. When I walk in that door and I'm like, so what's this I hear about this and that not being done, and it's church mics in there, no one's saying a word, then this is a null boy. Then you know it's personal or it's some petty shit.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? It's over. Well, you think you're this. Oh, so that's what we're about. We're not about the actual job. We're talking about standing who's on top of who, which leads back to the competition thing. If it's strictly about the job and I'm strictly not doing, I didn't prep enough chicken or I didn't prep the burgers or whatever, then that's a whole nother story. And if I'm in the reverse and I tell you didn't do it and you come in, you be like, well, because when I came in there was 0, and when I left here last night there was 5, you know, or whatever the case may be. So.
Well, and we've had so when it's not like we can leave right when the new shift's up, like, and then so when and we've went through these hurdles several times. Like even if you had your own stuff you had to do, me and other cooks would have to look, and I would ask the new shift that's coming in, like, listen, we're leaving. What do you need? Like if you
Funny you guys say that simultaneously.
That's if it's myself and 2 other people, and one of us is not going to stay. It doesn't take 3 of us to do it. Once we get to the point where it's the end and we're offline, if one of us leaves and it's the other 2 of us there, our first thing is to look at them after we think we've done. What else do you need?
Yeah.
What do you see that we didn't see? Because we sometimes, you know, we're tired. We're coming off our shift, so we might have missed something. So with y'all fresh in here, and this little bit of low we have, tell me what you need right now so I can go get it.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to hear about it 30 minutes later.
Yeah, and it's not something we would take personal either.
No.
We overlook stuff. We're tired. We're ready to go. But we do want the next shift to be successful. We wouldn't want to be burned the same. Like it's just a constant thing. So if it's either you're not comfortable enough with yourself to ask me, or you just didn't care enough to look at it. Like, so either you weren't successful because your skill level's not on point. Because I had no doubt between the staff that were there, that we were on point. Like I'm still that cocky. I don't think I'll ever work in a situation where like we were so in sync. So if anybody ever looked at us and be like, okay. Like we had no problem asking for stuff when we needed it.
No, not at all.
Like you're contributing to my success. You're making me look good, and I don't really have to say stuff. You know, so like if I tell you I need this, it's for a specific reason. I'm going to be successful because of this. If you're coming in and taking over a shift, there's a reason why I'm asking you what do you need. Like either it's okay to have the balls to be like, okay, I need this, this, and this. I'm not going to.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
You know, that's what you're supposed to do. That's why I'm asking you. And again, if we're going off of these people saying it, and then that's the worst. Now we're telling you that. Why? What you telling her for? Like,
what am I gonna do?
What? Not that, but what is the point? What you like? There is no reason to tell her that. That just say we don't have it. Because that's what I would do. I'm not throwing anybody under the bus.
Nope.
We're 86.
We're 86. And if it was that bad, the people who cut the checks would have said something.
Yes, they would.
And the fact that they don't say anything lets you know it's a petty Betty bullshit. You know?
And we used to love those arguments. Like somebody come up and ask me why wasn't this made or what? I was like, because you didn't do enough inventory. Like, sorry, you didn't give me what I needed to be successful. I apologize.
We didn't have it in there.
Yeah. Like, if you want to go and make it right now with what you got, show me that you can do it.
Yeah.
And, like, that was always fun. like, they would walk in there and be like, well, I don't have this. I'm like, oh, hell. Really?
That's crazy. You know how to
Like, if there was a corner to cut where we could make some great stuff, yeah, absolutely. But you and I were on the level of, like, we're not going to sell a shoddy product.
No.
You know, like, if it comes down... Yeah, if it came down to the point where we had to like sacrifice the integrity of the mule, it wasn't worth making. Yeah, so like that's just not something. Weirdly enough, so I'm gonna throw somebody under the bus. I ain't gonna tell them names or whatever.
fine.
But I had this chef, and he was one of those chefs you'd absolutely disrespect. Like you laugh when you walk in the room, and he was definitely not. He was not even from this country. Like he's a different bird all the way around. But we had seafood. And it went past date. Now, there's certain things that I would kind of give, not really, but I would kind of give the benefit of the doubt. Seafood's definitely not one of them.
Seafood.
Like once it's past date, there's no extension, there's no breather. When it's done, it's done.
Yeah.
And I kind of had my own experiment with this. Like we had lobsters, and they were in the cooler for freaking ever.
Oh, God.
And I just wanted to see how long they were going to leave it in the cooler, and it was 2 weeks past date. We just kept skipping over it, getting all the fresh product and leaving it in there. Well, finally, after about 2 weeks, I just took the whole thing and threw it away. Threw it away. He came in and chewed me out. Chewed me out because I threw all this seafood away. I was like, and I looked at dude, and he was the chef at the time. I looked at dude, I was like, I am not cooking that. And he looked at me and he was like, he pulls it out of the trash can, smells it. And he was like, still smells okay. And threw it back in the trash can. I was like, I looked at him, I was like, I swear to God, man, I will not put my name on a product that's like that.
Yeah.
And I talked to the GM at the time, and he was the chef before him. He had got promoted. I was like, you will never see me put my name on a product like that, ever. I was like, you will not. I was like, I don't care how much you think you know, like how good a chef you think you are.
There are certain things that you just can't.
That's like if there was a Bible, that would be like one of the commandments. Like you don't do that. Like seafood's just not something you play around with.
Because if you get somebody sick, then what?
Yeah. And then all of a sudden I put my name on it, and I know you'll throw me under the bus instantly.
And back it up on
Oh, yeah. So I was just like, and he looked at me, he was like, absolutely, like, and chewed him out. Like, came out and talked to the chef, like, we were nose to nose, like, that chef and I were, like, we were right there, and he's just, like, bowing down to, like, the GM. I was like, there's I'll talk all kinds of shit. I'll be mean to my chefs or whatever. I feel like that's important.
It's a thing.
I think it really is. Like you push boundaries. Yeah. That's how you become better, and that's how you force them to be better.
Yes.
Yeah. Like it's an ongoing thing in life in back of house kitchens. But I'll argue. I'll make that point or whatever. But if it's wrong, it's wrong. Like I just won't like. That's just not a thing.
No.
Yeah, I will not like. But I've never really asked you this question before. You've worked in a lot of like hole in the wall restaurants and like different things or whatever. Have you ever been in a corporate kitchen? Like you ever worked for a corporate, like a fine dining, maybe like?
I worked fine dining. It wasn't corporate though. I don't think I've ever. I mean, no, I don't think I've ever worked in a corporate kitchen.
Okay, so the reason I ask, well, we'll readdress this at a later date, but I was just kind of curious if you felt like there was as much to learn in a corporate kitchen versus a hole in the wall, or what you could learn from a hole in the wall versus a corporate kitchen.
Yeah.
Well, I can't speak from experience. I think the number one thing you learn in a corporate kitchen is consistency, like over everything, because you have to hit it the same.
Yes.
I think that's, and from the outside looking in, I assume that's the one thing above others.
My experience with it, because I've worked in both. I've worked in corporate. When you work in corporate, it's their way or no way.
Yeah.
It's their way, no way. You learn how to do things in bulk. You learn how to fix different things, obviously. But the experiment is not there.
No.
Like
no freestyle.
Yeah, no freestyling and play. And like that's what I love about a hole in the wall kitchen. They'd be like, all right, we need a special today. Who wants to swing
What
it?
you got?
Yeah, like who wants to take that? And there's nothing cooler than having a special. And then people love it.
And it's
everybody. So, and that's what I love about hole in the wall restaurants. And I think that's where you get to learn versus, like working in a corporate kitchen. But we do have another guest speaker that's going to take on the corporate standing of it.
We want to put them up against you.
So we want to see where these conversations go, like an extended. So we're going to do our interview with him, and then in a few more weeks, if you're down, we're going to play this out. I want to see what happens. We'll see the simulator.
Make this fun and interesting.
Eye to eye on most things. I don't think it'll be like a Hatfield versus McCoy type of thing. Like I don't think it'll be that bad. But obviously there are going to be some differences in techniques and ideals. Yeah.
So I can't wait to see how this turns out. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Please stand by for the next available episode. That's going. Can't wait to see what happens next. All right, guys. Love you guys. Until next time.